And today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. We're here with the Skaven, going to be facing up against the Wood Elves, so let's go ahead and jump straight to the army compositions. My forces are going to be led by Lord Skrolk here. We've got Liber Bubonicus, of course, for that massive single-target nuke. We've also got Stand Your Ground for the leadership. Vermintide and Pestilent Breath are going to be the two spells to both summon Plague Monks and do some AoE damage against low armor targets, which of course the Wood Elves have plenty of. We've also got Double Assassin to back up Skrolk, just to keep him from getting gooned. For an infantry composition, you can see we've got a ton of infantry. 3 Plague Monks is going to be the core, with several Clan Rats with shields, including 4 Clan Rat Spears with shields. We've also got, let's see, only 4 ones back here, and then these 2 up here are Skaven Slaves with spears. We've got also 4 Gutter Runners. Of course, they're going to be good against low armor targets, which the Wood Elves have plenty of. They're another really nice control unit, can help kind of control the flow of the battle. The Warp Lightning Cannon, of course, and that's about it. For my opponent's build, you can see he's got a Glady up here, 2 units of Deepwood Scouts up front with a Glade Rider with Hagbane tips, and then the rest of his forces are hidden in the woods here. He's got a War Dancer, 2 units of Eternal Guards with shields, and quite a few tree-type units. We've got Dryads, Treekin, another Dryad, another Treekin, and another Dryad. So 3 Dryads, 2 Treekin with a Branch Wraith in the center. He's got Earthblood and Melkos Mystifying Miasma, as well as the melee attack buff. And the tree-type units are going to be pretty solid against the Skaven because they all do magic damage and, of course, are good against low armor targets, which the Skaven have plenty of. But first things first, we're going to get a bit of an extended skirmish phase underway. You can see the Glady is kind of moving around here, attacking these units of Gutter Runners here, which is fine with me. I mean, she only has 50 armor. She's going to do some damage here against a relatively high value unit, but she only has 50 armor on the dragon, so the Gutter Runners will do some damage with their shuriken, and it also allows me to kind of control her and keep her pinned in this pocket, which then allows the Warp Lightning Cannon to just fire in continuously and get some really nice work done as well. So you can see that Warp Lightning Cannon going to be popping off some more shots here. Looks like a little bit of friendly fire there. Skaven aren't too worried about friendly fire at the end of the day, of course. Yeah, we're just going to be using some of these cheaper units to screen in just a moment here. I'm taking a lot of damage on these 2 units of Gutter Runners here, just from all the Deepwood Scouts. We've got Glade Guard with Hagbane tips, also has emerged from the forest here. And I did also fail to mention there's another unit of the Hagbane tip Glade Riders that was Vanguard deployed back behind my lines. So definitely lots of skirmishing here. It's going to be a bit of an extended skirmish phase. You can see these guys are doing exactly what they should be, which is firing into the Warp Lightning Cannon. They're going to be able to take out a lot of the crew and potentially even destroy the Warp Lightning Cannons themselves. Because they're large targets, they'll take a lot of hits from the individual arrows. So I wouldn't be surprised if one of those unit models even went down there. So we're just going to be screening out with some Clan Rats here, and I was going to use the Clan Rat Spears, but I just decided to summon up these Clan Rats and just send them on a wild goose chase to make sure we fend these guys off. And basically I just want to keep enough distance between the cannon and whatever skirmishers that it doesn't get shot too much. You can see the Glady has taken a lot of damage at this point from the Warp Lightning Cannon. It's been just consistently shooting at her only, using most of its ammo at this point. So she's flying back over towards the Branch Wraith to get some healing, I would imagine. My opponent's wasting a lot of his ammo on my Clan Rats and my Skaven Slaves here. I'm keeping my Plague Monks relatively back from the battle so that they don't get shot up too much. I'm not too worried about him wasting a lot of his ammo here on these Clan Rats with shields. They do have a missile block chance and they're relatively cheap as well, so we're just going to let them soak up as much fire as possible. Honestly, in a lot of situations you don't want to just sit back and let your opponent shoot you like this, but in this situation where I have a very large force of cheap troops, as long as I don't start taking a lot of damage on my more expensive troops, I'm totally fine to let my opponent waste all of his ammunition shooting at my Clan Rats and my Skaven Slaves and so on. So yeah, you can see both units of Skaven Slaves kind of just dispatched to run at my opponent, keep him zoned out of range here. We're continuing to try and shoot at the Glady. She's kind of flying in and out of the forest at a side angle like this, which is exactly what you should do in this situation. I'm going to switch targets, I believe, in just a moment over to these Glade Riders with the Hagbane tips. But at the end of the day, we've been able to get some okay work done with the gutter runners. They have taken some damage as well, but this unit of Blade Riders with Hagbane Tips, you can see when they charge in here, they do take a lot of return damage because they don't have a lot of armor, of course. And the Skaven here, the gutter runners have the poison as well as the snare net effect, so that is going to debuff the speed significantly, and they'll be able to drag down a few more unit models there. So far, so good. I do have both charges of the Liber Bubonicus still, so even if that Glade Lord, if we're not able to take her out with the Warp Lightning Cannon, which it looks like at this point we're not going to be able to, we still will be able to drop the charges of Liber Bubonicus and hopefully finish off that Glady. It is going to be a tough battle. You can see these Deepwood Scouts here and the Glade Riders just trolling around. Again, I'm perfectly happy to let them shoot away at this Clan Rat Spear. And right here, like, these Deepwood Scouts are wasting their ammo into these already routed Skaven slaves. So, yeah, I'm perfectly okay to let them do that. Even a little bit of friendly fire going to be coming in from those Deepwood Scouts. So, that's the one nice thing about Skaven, is if your opponent brings a heavy shooting army and you have a lot of bodies to throw at them, you can just waste most of their ammo before the real engagement gets underway. That being said, I mean, obviously Plague Monks are not going to trade super cost effectively against a lot of tree type units. I don't have Wither, I didn't bring Wither, so unfortunately they're really going to struggle against some of the higher armor, for example, of these Treekin and so on, once we do get that engagement underway. But just a lot of shooting. Typically you don't get a really extended skirmish phase like this in Total War Warhammer 2, but Wood Elves and Skaven are two armies that both excel at the skirmish phase, so at this point I'm pretty much just waiting for my opponent to waste the rest of his ammo. So we'll go ahead and fast forward a little bit through the mid game here as I just pull my Plague Monks back. You can see I've used the last of the ammo, so I'm going to be sending the Warp Lightning Cannon crew to, again, just waste as much shots as possible. This Deepwood Scout here that's a little bit isolated, we're going to try and get on them, but the Gutter Runners, you can see, the Gutter Runners have decent combat stats. They'll definitely do okay against the Deepwood Scouts there, and the poison that they apply is going to be very nice against both them and the Glade Riders here. You can see not doing too great on either side, but one cast of Liber Bubonicus has been dropped on the Glady now, so she's going to be losing even more health. Not quite close to her healing cap, but those ticks of Liber Bubonicus, you can see, do a ton of damage. A nice Dragon Breath going down, doing a lot of damage on those Plague Monks who so far haven't taken too much damage, all things considered. All the units are relatively healthy here, so now that we've used up the Warp Lightning Cannon, we're going to be pushing up all across the board here. We've got both of these units of Gutter Runners firing into these War Dancers that are currently not being microed. They were chasing down some of my Skaven slaves earlier, and we are going to be able to get some pre-damage in there. Very cost-effective against a relatively high-value unit. Nice Plague Breath, a little bit mis-aimed there. You can see it was at kind of an awkward angle. Didn't get right down like I wanted it to, but still did some okay damage. And just all across the board, going to be pushing up here. Since my opponent's just about out of ammo anyway, figured we could get this engagement underway here. And I hadn't seen any of this force that was hidden in the forest here. I knew he had something else because this is way too little. So I figured that there was something waiting in here. I didn't know exactly what, but now I see all the Tree Spirit units are going to be coming out of the forest here. So I'm going to go ahead and just quickly kind of fold back because I don't want to take this engagement right in the forest. Obviously fighting trees in the forest is never a good idea, and we also want to kind of screen out and see if we can isolate these War Dancers on the far side. They have taken some damage, but they were able to kind of clean up the one unit of Gutter Runners. That being said, this other unit of Gutter Runners is parked on station here, going to be firing into the side hopefully, and we did summon up some extra Clan Rats here just to kind of inundate these War Dancers with superior unit models. Another really nice Dragon Breath doing a ton of damage to that unit of Plague Monks. So this one unit of Plague Monks on the far side already lost almost half their unit models and half their HP. This unit of Gutter Runners here just about used up all its ammo. My opponent's chasing with the Hagbane Tip Glade Riders, but anytime he does chase, he's going to turn around and take that fire from those Gutter Runners right in the behind. So a really rough situation there. Meanwhile, Lord Skrolk is just continuing to be an absolute menace here. He can get a lot of Winds of Magic, so we're just patiently biding our time here, trying to get that other cast of Liber Bubonicus. Just hold out as long as possible. You can see that summoned Clan Rat there does get a little bit routed. These Clan Rat Spears are probably going to be routed as well, but my opponent's a little bit clumped up here, whereas I've got my army nice and spread out. So again, just trying to win by the war of attrition here at this point. It's very grindy battle. You can see a very long battle. It's still about 6 minutes left on the timer, so yeah, it's going to be interesting. the final cast of Libri Bubonicus is cast there, and the Glady does indeed go down, so that is going to give me a nice advantage right out of the gates, because the Tree Spirit units don't have the best leadership. You can see solid leadership at the moment, because the Branch Wraith is still nearby, but overall, their base value is 70, which is solid, but if you can get them with lots of rear charges and get them isolated, they can lose their leadership relatively effectively. Skrolk's Contaminate here that he carries is also going to be very effective in that as well. He also does magic damage, which, I mean, he doesn't do the best armor piercing, but he'll be able to kind of poke away at these Tree Man unit models here. So we'll watch as Skrolk gets in there and gives them a bit of that flail, supporting these Clan Rats. All across the line as well, Plague Monks and Clan Rats going to be meeting up with the Dryads. Dryads will trade very cost effectively. This is one matchup where Dryads are a very strong unit. Honestly, a couple of Sword and Board Storm Vermin might not have been a bad idea in this particular matchup. They can trade pretty much with any Wood Elf infantry except Wildwood Rangers, which you're pretty much never going to see in this matchup, I wouldn't think. So, so far so good. It's still a very close battle. You can see Eternal Guards now emerging from the forest, going to be attacking this side of the formation. All of the Deepwood Scouts have used up their ammo at this point. You can see that Branch Wraith dropping a nice Earthblood, healing up this entire pocket here as well. But yeah, we're doing good. Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma also damaging those Plague Monks, which is pretty decent. We summoned up another unit of Clan Rats, so Skrolk showing his ability to just perpetually summon there. I'm going to be dispatching these assassins to kind of break the charge, or the advance rather, of these Eternal Guards here, and hopefully affix them in place so that we can get a nice Plague Breath. You can see all across the line, mainline engagements going down. The Dryads and all that are trading reasonably cost effectively. We didn't get the best Plague Breath, again, a little bit misaimed there, but it did some pretty solid damage overall to those Eternal Guards here. The other Eternal Guard is going to reach the mainline engagement. Overall, where the Treekin are isolated, we're going to be able to do very well, and despite these Dryads being a heavily armored unit, the anti-infantry bonus of those Plague Monks is going to help them. And again, another Clan Rat summon here, just perpetually throwing bodies at this Wood Elf force here. You can see the balance of power starting to tilt slightly in my favor. Another Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma on these Plague Monks. A very nice cast. It's exactly the target that my opponent wants to be targeting here. These Branch Wraiths are fighting valiantly, but you can see the trees are getting chopped up a little bit here by the little Skaven cleavers and clubs and so on. Over on the far side, though, these Clan Rat Spears are in a very desperate situation. They're fighting Tree Men, which, I mean, obviously they have the anti-large bonus and okay-ish melee stats, but these Treekin will definitely give them the business, despite the fact they have relatively low melee attack and weapon strength. They'll still get some damage done here. Yeah, you can see kind of a general route going down with the Clan Rats here. The Plague Monks are still holding out on this side, but meanwhile in this other pocket, we're able to win out. We're just about to rout off these last couple units of Dryads here, and the Assassins are just getting in work here, doing all kinds of karate kicks and shanks as they also get shanked by these Eternal Guards here. They're much better at a single target rather than trying to fight a group of infantry like this, but they're mostly just being used to kind of pin these Eternal Guards in place, and they're also not going to take a ton of damage to the Eternal Guard. You can see another beautiful Plague Breath there, just ravaging those Eternal Guards and what was left of those War Dancers. War Dancers, on the other hand, will do a lot of the damage to those Assassins, so I needed to try and finish them off as quickly as possible. But you can see Skrolk here, that Contaminate's able to do enough leadership damage, and with the other routing units nearby, we're able to get a break on these Treekin units, which finally tilts the power a little bit more balance of power, a little bit more decisively in my favor. These Clan Rat Spears are chasing these Treekin who are desperately trying to get on my Plague Monks. I do not want them to be able to get on my Plague Monks, so I'm going to dispatch them to charge in on these Eternal Guards. That's going to be the next best target for them. You can see lots of Skaven and Wood Elf bodies in this particular pocket here, but these Plague Monks are going to be charging in, getting some nice damage done against these Eternal Guards in a very, very pitched, kind of heated late game engagement. Man, I think that Plague Monks are one of the coolest looking Skaven units for sure, though. They're raggedy green robes and those weird eye patches. It kind of reminds me of the, what are they called? The Children of Adam from Fallout, who are, any of you who have played that series. Kind of a similar aesthetic, except, you know, obviously these guys are Ratmen. But anyway, Lord Skrolk fighting valiantly here, getting circle beaten a little bit by Treeman here, but Skrolk is pretty scary in melee, honestly. He's got solid melee attack and defense, decent weapon strength. Again, not the most armor piercing, but he does have that Contaminate, and at the very least does have magic damage, so he is going to be circumventing the 20% physical resistance that the Treekin have. That being said, being inundated a little bit by the Eternal Guards here, and you can see this branch wraith is going to be chasing off those clan rat spears. But we do have a lot of forces rallying over on the far side. You can see the balance power creeping back in the Wood Elf's favor ever so slightly. It's still very, very close battle at this point. Another Melkoth Mystifying Miasma being dropped on these Plague Monks here, who are now going to charge in on this final unit of Eternal Guards. So this kind of final pitched battle here with the branch wraith fighting Skrolk one-on-one. The Eternal Guards, the Treekin, and the Plague Monks all supporting here. So very fun kind of thematic finish here. And now the Clan Nation units are going to come from behind in a very Skaven fashion and start to apply that poison debuff to all the units in this particular pocket. And with that, we should be able to rout off. You can see that unit of Treekin is routed off. This other unit of Treekin is still holding together, as are the Eternal Guards, but now even more rats coming in. More clan rats rallied from the far side, going to be coming in here and just dragging down death by 1,000 cuts, if you will, these Treekin. And Skrolk also applying that nasty Contaminate debuff. You can see he's getting all wild in here, swinging that Plague Sensor around, and having a grand old time, no doubt, with his big old book strapped to his back. It's going to be a victory for the Skaven. A very close, hard-fought victory, but a victory nonetheless. So very well played to my opponent. It was a super fun battle, very tense, and it's not often you get to see kind of a long, drawn-out skirmish phase like we had there. Very reminiscent of some of the earlier Total War titles, multiplayer. Very fun stuff. Reminds me of watching Heir of Carthage back in the Rome 2 days before Attila even came out. That's kind of when I got into the Total War multiplayer scene. I didn't start playing a lot, I would say, until Total War Warhammer, but I have a lot of experience with the campaign. And anyway, that's totally besides the point. The army breakdown here, 58 kills each, respectively, on the assassins, 24 on Skrolk himself, and again, that Contaminate. And that 24 doesn't account for, you know, all 6 units of clan rats that I was able to summon. I did get all 6 summons off with Lord Skrolk, so that's a ton of value. Between that, the Liber Bubonicus that was able to finish off that Glady in that late game, and the Plague Breast got a ton of value out of Lord Skrolk. Really, really cost-effective Lord. The clan rats did okay, you know, they don't really expect them to stand up super well here. The Plague Monks really got some good work done. 45, 89 is really decent, and 57. Warp Lightning Cannon, again, did lots of damage to the Glady, and then in the end, the Gutter Runners were able to do enough. In terms of the Wood Elf kills, you would expect a high kill total on a lot of these units here, and some of the kill totals are pretty impressive. 154 on the Glady, despite going down relatively early, 118 on these Dryads, 151 on these Dryads, 112 on the Deepwood Scouts, 113 on the Hagbane Tips, 100 on these War Dancers, 185 on these Glade Riders, 97 on these Glade Riders. You can see not a lot of XP chevrons, only this Glade Rider picked up an XP chevron, so although the kill totals may look relatively impressive, you have to remember I brought a huge Skaven army and then padded that out even further with 6 more clan rat summons, so these kill totals should be very much inflated by the huge army that I brought here. But regardless, very well played to my opponent. Hope you guys enjoyed watching that epic clash. If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe. I'm keeping it coming with more Total War Warhammer 2 content every single day, so stay tuned for more, and we'll see you next time.